What is up, guys? Media Master Menard here today, bringing you guys yet another video. Today we're going to be playing some Octopath Traveler. It's a JRPG made for the Nintendo Switch by Square Enix, and it had a demo released recently, and I'm here to give you guys my impressions on it. The game will be fully releasing on July 13th. Just a little background on me. I love JRPGs, and I've played almost every single Final Fantasy game, a lot of the Dragon Quest series, and I just love RPG elements in any game, but I especially love true JRPGs that are classic, the old turn-based systems, the sprite animations, all of that fun stuff. So this game really appealed to me when I first saw it, so keep that in mind with my impressions. So basically the premise of this game is that there are 8 different travelers, which is where the Octopath comes in, but Octopath also is an anagram. If you put together the first letters of each character's name, it spells Octopath, so I thought that was kind of neat. I didn't know that at first. But anyways, like I said, there are these 8 different characters, and you get to collect them all throughout the game, and that's kind of the premise of the game, is that you get to have all these different characters come through, and you get to see their stories. And one main thing that Square really emphasized is that you can see all the different character stories in one playthrough, so the game doesn't require multiple playthroughs, even though you can't have every single character in your party at one time. Well, now that we have the basic premise of the game out of the way, let's talk about my thoughts about the game and what I really felt like playing the demo and if I will be buying the full version of the game. So I started the game as Therian, and he is this thief who thinks he's kind of too cool for school. He's always at pubs trying to gather information so that he can make more robberies and make money. And the first thing I noticed when playing as him was that the game had a lot of exposition. It really took a while to get going. I thought they took a lot of time to build the world, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, and it's a very common thing in JRPGs, in fact, but I thought it could have taken off a little bit faster, and it seemed like an hour before I even got into a real battle. Maybe I was playing the game super slow. I am prone to do such things. Once you did get into the battle system, I was pleasantly surprised. I am a big fan of old school JRPGs and turn-based battle systems, so this game lends itself right to me. I know a lot of people think that game system is outdated and doesn't work anymore, but I love it and I think it fits the game perfectly. I want to call the battle system in this game a mix between Final Fantasy X and Bravely Default. It has the turn order above the screen like in Final Fantasy X. You can see who's coming next and what's going to happen, and you can somewhat alter this turn order by breaking an opponent by exploiting their weakness a certain amount of times. So if you exploit this weakness like you can see on screen right now, you're going to break your opponent and take away their next turn. The Bravely Default aspect is how you can stack up attacks up to 4 attacks in one turn and unleash them all at once. You gain 1 stack per turn as long as you didn't stack your attacks the last turn, and unlike Bravely Default, you don't have to default or you aren't left vulnerable if you use all your stacks up at once. Each character has a different job, so they can perform different things on the battlefield, and this is important when you're trying to exploit the enemy's weaknesses. Outside of the battle, the progression system, they give you job points which you can spend to earn skills in any order that you want. So it's important that you strategize and think ahead on what skills you want each character to have to be able to use in battle. This aspect really appeals to me because I like how they set each character with a certain role, but they let you develop in whatever order within that role that you want to. So I like how they define a role for a character but let you play the character how you want to play the character. The level system is pretty standard as far as JRPGs go. You get experience at the end of battle and you can see your experience bar fill up, and once it fills up you get a level up and all your stats grow. So I don't think there's any surprises on that front. One thing to take note of here is that the game does feature random encounters. I'm not sure if there is a way to turn them off or not, but it really doesn't bother me. I think random encounters are fine and it forces me to fight more battles. If I can see the enemies on the map, I like to run away a little more, so I have no problem with this system. As far as the story goes, we weren't able to dive too much into it because we were only allowed to play 3 hours into this demo. Luckily, they're going to let us carry over the save data into the full game on July 13th, but like I said, we weren't able to find out too much about the story. I'm a little worried about the story because in Chapter 1, when you go to find another character in his or her starting city, because all 8 characters start in a different city or town, you see that they don't talk to each other or react to each other. You just go to a flashback of the beginning of their story, and that's kind of how the developers put into the game how you won't miss anybody's story. But it's kind of weird coming up to that character and just finding them sitting around in that town and not being able to talk to them. You just kind of see their story and then they come along and help you, but there's no interaction between your two characters, which I found very odd. I haven't played enough of it yet to give a good estimate on how good or bad the story will be. It's a Square RPG, so there's a certain guarantee of quality there. So I have to say, I think it's going to be an average to above average game story-wise. We can't forget about the music, and as always, Square Enix is knocking it out of the park in my opinion. I think the music in this game is really good and adds a lot of tone and atmosphere to this game. Another thing I'd like to comment on are the great environments. I know they're pixelated in 2D and some people that may turn them off, but for me, it harkens back to the old days and I really love it, and they're like really artsy and stylized graphics, so I really like the way they're doing things there. The world map is kind of interesting in this game. It's not really a world map as much as connected environments, which I think is a really cool take on how to traverse the world. That's about it for my impressions on this demo. I really think this is a good idea for Square to get this name out there and try to get people to play it and know about it more. I really didn't know about it too much until their E3 presentation, and so knowing that I can carry my save progress over into the main game is really exciting for me, and I just can't wait for July 13th for this game to come out. If you are a fan of JRPGs at all, I recommend that you try this game out. It's on the Switch eShop, Octopath Traveler, and I think you're really going to like it, and you're going to end up buying the game. I can't say that it's going to be the next revolutionary game that changes gaming forever like the way Final Fantasy VII did, but I can say that it'll be a fun time for classic JRPG lovers like myself. So that's it for today's video, guys. If you guys liked it, leave a like and comment down below what you thought on the Octopath Traveler demo. If you haven't played it, are you excited for it? Have you heard about Octopath Traveler? Let me know the answer to those questions in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be bringing you guys more video game content like this, but also content on movies, TV, and anime, all that fun stuff. Until then, this is Master Menard, signing off.
Don't start things you can't finish.